Behind me and over my shoulder is the Church of St. John the Baptist here in Jindrichuv Hradec. It's an interesting church that may actually be a Templar church that goes all the way back to the 11th century. There is some fascinating artwork inside the church, medieval artwork, that some people suggest actually holds the secret to the buried Templar treasure. I actually think it relates to sound frequencies that they used to accentuate their spirituality. If you're interested in learning more about my theory, please visit the video that I made a couple of years ago on the topic here. St. John the Baptist Church is part of the City Museum and is now unused for religious purposes. The church is also the site of a major node with at least 3 Type 4 and numerous other lines intersecting underneath the arch in the church. It is a major vortex on the Templar alignment, and indeed the first one we ever discovered, which led to the discovery of the Templar line itself. There's something clearly extraordinary about the place. So unfortunately, and suspiciously, it's closed to the public. Now, it's never been closed before. And even as I stand here outside, I can hear the high-pitched buzz and whistling sound of the node. I can feel the energies. It's quite sensational. I'm going to have to draw upon older video to show you inside. Inside, the church has incredible 13th and 14th century wall art and many Templar and Teutonic crosses marked around the church and in the various chapels. There's something very weird about the wall art. It's extremely floral, and somehow it reminds me of things that Rudolf Steiner had said about living and dying and vegetation. The blocks of art on the archway in the main church and in the window arches resemble some sort of floral design, but with odd and bizarre pictures thrown in. There are grotesque images of naked humanoids showing their buttocks, others of strange humanoid creatures in various poses or holding out hands with 3 fingers. I think we deciphered some of this artwork as sound frequency information. Well, behind me is the castle of the Lords of Hradec, and the oldest part of that castle is the round tower that you can see over my shoulder, which dates back to the 11th century. So I'm sat in Mokosh as it enters the tower, the Black Tower, in the Jindrichuv Hradec castle. And I just played the 852 Hz frequency that resonates with Mokosh. And now, all I can hear is that frequency. I keep thinking that the app is still on my phone in my pocket. And of course it isn't. I'm using it to film this. But I can hear the 852 Hz frequency. And Perun is 741 Hz. And so, honestly, I begin to hear these frequencies around these lines and nodes. It's quite interesting, and obviously this has to be my next line of research because it's beginning to drive me nuts that I hear these sounds. For now, I'm just going to meditate and breathe in the energies of this line and see what the effect of that is. It's a magical technique where you breathe some quality into yourself and breathe it out again. But I'm going to do that with Mokosh and see what happens. While breathing in the Mokosh energies, I took 5 breaths and held. It made me feel anxious and gave me a headache, so I breathed the 5 breaths back out again. I'm not sure what that means. I will try Perun while I'm sitting in the Perun line. So I'm now sat in Perun. I confirmed the 741 Hz of frequency. It's very noisy here, but it's by the main road. But I think I hear a buzzing sound here too. I'm going to breathe it in and see what happens. And the result of breathing in Perun was a sort of light-headed, altitude, airy, laughter sort of feeling. Quite positive compared to Mokosh, which I found quite negative and quite difficult. This was quite positive. Positive, negative, there you go, weird day. So that's an interesting experiment. I don't know what to make of it. To complete my revisit of the Jindrichuv Hradec area, I went to Cimer, and this is where we found this outdoor church which had mixtures of Catholic and pagan symbolism. This crucifix had on either side these statues of a man and a woman, and it has a wonderful atmosphere and is obviously still used actively by both pagans and Catholics today. The interesting thing is that this is a different Type 4 line. It does go through the church in JH. It is one of the Type 4s, and this is another node. And the interesting thing is that where the node actually is located, someone has carved a spiral from a tree trunk and placed a seat next to it. How wonderful. I again sat and meditated here and played with the idea of frequency and breathing in the energies of the lines. And this is how it went. So I decided to come back to this shrine on a node, or close to a node, that Eva and I discovered a couple of 3 years ago, when at Rory Duff's suggestion we circumnavigated Jindrichuv Hradec looking for the lines going in and out of the town. And this was one of those lines. And to our utter amazement, we discovered this spiral design on a tree trunk where the node is, and not far away, a crucifix with carved trees on both sides in the figure of a man and a woman, male and female. There's a kind of sense of a mixture of paganism and Catholicism here. There's a wonderful atmosphere, and it is a natural chapel in the trees. And can I hear the buzzing? I mean, I'm not joking. I am now hearing these buzzing sounds at nodes and on lines. I'm going to see if I can figure out the frequency. So I seem to have moved into a new phase of research, not just tracking and mapping lines across the country, but now this sort of sound frequency, buzzing, oral and breathing in, experiencing the energies sort of research. Real magic if you want. So please stay tuned, subscribe. Thank you.